Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. What's happening? What's happening?
What's up?
Listen, I thought I was gonna have to set the vibes, but apparently, Rita.
Yes.
Set the vibe. So hopefully everybody is doing good. Welcome to Podcast Basics. What you actually need to know to get started. Post real quick. Who are the new podcasters in here?
Oh,
That's majority of the people. Okay. And the season podcasters.
The OGs. We're the OGs.
Okay, cool. All right. Sweet. All right, so to introduce myself real quick, we're gonna let the panelists introduce themselves. My name is Mr. Al Pete, founder of the MPN Network. It's a media company where I focus with artists, entrepreneurs, musicians, and we do write-ups and all that, especially podcasting. Podcasting is like a main drive for my company. So we do a lot of podcasting. So that's me. And quick plug, I have a show here at 8 o'clock on Saturdays. The WJCT is called The Neighborhood. So if you listen to the radio, you should listen to it.
Okay.
I'll be playing some funky stuff on there. You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers, who?
I'm sorry, PM. 8 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays, yeah. So, but nevertheless, we're gonna let the panelists introduce themselves and then we finna get into it.
All right, my name is Patrina Dixon, and I am the CEO and founder of It's My Money. So when I say whose money is it, I want you to say it's my money. Whose money is it?
It's my money.
Yeah, so underneath that brand, I teach personal finance and business finances to many different people across the country, and I am a podcast host. My show is called The Money Exchange. So I'm glad that all of you in the room are interested in becoming a podcaster. For the OGs, woo-hoo. And if you need funding for your finance, because that's you are creating something and there are funding for creators, I also do grants for small business owners as well, which you are when you're a podcaster. So if you're interested in that, hit me up. Again, Patrina Dixon, one of your panelists today.
All right. Hello, my name is Rita, and I'm your podcast fairy godmother, okay? My podcast name is Bippity Boppity Business, okay? It's a Disney business podcast. Why? Because your hobby and your business can be together to make a show that you love. It's taken me from being a podcaster to being a content creator and, of course, producer. I'm the CEO and founder of Reignite Media. We coach and help creators find their once upon a podcast moment to help make their content dreams come true. So if you're stuck trying to figure out how to launch, or you're during your launch, or you're just tired of it and you want to start over, who do you need to call? Your podcast fairy godmother. Thank you all for being here.
And my name is Priscilla Brooke. I work for Buzzsprout, so I'm our head of podcaster success over there. So I'm more in the hosting space, but I help podcasters launch and grow their podcasts every day, all day. It's really fun. And then about a year ago, I started my own podcast, which is all about offering remarkable customer support to your customers. So if you work in customer support, you might be interested in it. It's called Happy to Help. But yeah, I'm excited. I've been working in podcasting for about a decade, so it's very exciting, yeah.
Indeed. Give it up for our panelists, y'all. Make some noise for the panelists. All right, so this session right here, like they stated, we're going to be talking about the essentials. So if you thought about doing a podcast, or you've been on a podcast before, but you say you want to just start your own, every niche, every business, every dream goal, whatever, I feel like a podcast is definitely essential. It's great for it. But you need to know the essentials. You got to know how to start it, what equipment to get, what server to start it up with, how to monetize it, all those questions. So we're gonna try to get into that majority of those things here, all right? Y'all cool? Y'all ready? Got your pens out? All right, making sure. All right, so let's get to the first question. I'm sorry. And we're gonna leave like 10, 15 minutes at the end for y'all to ask questions or whatnot. And I'm sure if you have questions outside of it, one of us or all of us will be able to answer it, okay? All right, so first question. What do I need to do to prepare for my first episode?
So, I think that's me, right? So what do you need to do? I want to say organize. Like my husband is big on saying, if you don't plan, what you'll fail to plan, then you are planning to fail. So it's really important to prepare for that episode. Is your show going to be single, just you talking? Is it going to be interview style, where you have a guest on that you bring it on to share their expertise with your guests? So you want to make sure that you're doing things like that. What is the name of your podcast going to be? How long is it going to be? How frequently you're going to drop episodes? And let me tell you, on that note, and I learned from my learned experience, do it when you can do it. So if the industry is saying you need to do it once a week, it needs to be an hour long, if that does not fit what you're able to do, don't set yourself up for failure. It's better to start infrequently, meaning like once a month, and then build up when you get the capacity, or you have like batch episodes, which means that you've recorded them, have them ready to publish, and you recorded them all, let's say on one day or during 1 week, and then you can publish whenever it makes sense for you to publish. But because what happens is, because you all are experts in whatever it is that you're going to share, if it's dog walking or if it's drinking iced coffee, whatever it is you're going to start your show about, people want to hear from you. So once you start your show at whatever frequency you do, you want to make sure that they know when to expect the next episode. So if it's once a month, that's fine. Don't try to overcommit. The other thing that I want to say in your organization, be prepared about what you're going to talk about, right? Don't get on the show, even though there's editing, don't get on the show with the ums and the bloopers and all of that stuff. You want it to be organic, and you want to be, very genuine in what you're talking about. You don't want it overly rehearsed, but you also want to sound like you're prepared, like you know what your show is going to be about for the day, and you have prepared for that accordingly. So those are some of the things that I would say to start your first episode. Know what type of show. Is it just you? Is it you and a guest? And also know the duration of your show. Is it 15-minute little bites? I know a colleague that have a show that's called Popcorn Episodes, and he literally has episodes, and it started with, and he talks about this in his bio, is when he puts a bag of popcorn in the microwave, that his show will start and end by the time that popcorn finished popping. Wow, okay. So that became his brand. So very short, to the point, and he puts them out frequently. But there's others that have shows that are 25 minutes, 35 minutes, an hour, depending on what it is that they're talking about. So you have to find out that right duration for your show and what your listeners are calling for. And then lastly, I'll say this is look at your analytics. So if you are doing a show that's an hour long and people stop listening at 25 minutes, then maybe you should shorten it. And that will give you less, that will give you more time, and you're not, having a show for an hour long that folks are not tuning in for the entire episode.
Can I add something just for a second? Everything she said, I completely agree.
Mm-hmm.
That is great. I love the popcorn idea reference. And so to tie into that further, I have two pieces of advice. Before you sit down and record your first episode, two things. One, think big. Think bigger than the show itself. What could your show become? Is it just your, podcast, or could you sell merch? Could you start a community because of your show? Like, your show has to be bigger than the name of it itself. So as a producer, that's something I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody who's thinking about the entire journey that they're going to take both their listeners and themselves on. And number two, don't be afraid to start over, because I started 2 podcasts before I landed on my podcast now, and you can get really hard on yourself when you try one and it doesn't work out, or you're not vibing with it anymore. Think big and don't be afraid to start over, because you have big dreams to work towards, and don't let yourself get in the way of that first episode. And last tip, it's really overwhelming to record by yourself or with a guest for the first time. Try it with a friend, with your mom, your auntie, your sister, your cousin. Record your first episode with somebody that you care about, and that'll help bring out your personality. Or pull up a mirror if you really don't like to talk to people and just talk to yourself, and in the camera or behind the microphone, imagine your younger self behind that camera, behind that microphone, and talk to that person. And before you sit down and record that first episode, those are the things I think you should have in mind and consider.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'll add one more thing. So when you're in this phase before you launch, before you get that first episode recorded, you're really trying to define what your show is going to be about and why you're doing it. Mm-hmm. And it's really important to set that ahead of time. There's a pretty big trend of pod fading after a handful of episodes. And the reason that happens is because people run out of things to say, either because they're too niche on what their topic is, or they're too broad and so they can't find an audience that really care about that thing that they care about. So when you're really like getting ready to plan all those details, narrow down your topic so it's something you really care about, and then you can find your audience that really care about that thing. Setting that why before you get started is going to help you to continue beyond those first 7 episodes. And try to pick something that you like to talk about. You can be an expert in it and be like, oh, I really hate talking about this thing. Don't choose that topic, because you're going to get 4 episodes in and then it's going to become a chore. If it's something you love and you're passionate about, then you're going to keep making episodes because you enjoy the process of recording. So try not, before you get to the point where you're actually publishing and recording, define your why and kind of get excited about that and look at it from an exciting point of view. And then just to piggyback on what Trina was saying, sustainability is a big part of this. So do not bite off more than you can chew. If you work a 40-hour job and you want to start a podcast on the side, maybe weekly episodes is not where you should start, because it is going to be hard to stay on top of that, which will also contribute to the pod fade. So if it's once a month, if it's twice a month or every other month, just start where you can start that's sustainable in your lifestyle, and then you can always ramp it up as you go.
Yeah, 70% of people don't get past episode 7. So if you get to episode 8, you got to celebrate yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, the know why is very important. The knowing the why. All right, second question. Can you walk us through the launch process and what are some of the best practices?
Yeah, so that's me. So launching can feel very daunting, right? Like, how do I actually get my episode once it's done onto Apple Podcasts so people can listen to it? That's where the technical stuff comes in. And a lot of podcasts are creatives and they're excited to talk about, storytelling and the things they've learned, but that technical side can get really hard sometimes. So the launch process can feel hard and technical, but it actually is pretty straightforward once you learn it. So the first thing you want to do is find a hosting company or a hosting service.
Buzzsprout.
So the nice thing about a hosting service, that's where you're going to upload your episodes to. It's like your home base online, and then your hosting company will get your episodes listed on all the directories. So you kind of think of that host as your hub, and that's where you manage all the details in your podcast, and then it sends out to all of the different directories. So anyone can listen on any podcasting app they want to. So yes, Buzzsprout is a hosting service. I work for them. We're great. We're local. I highly recommend Buzzsprout. But I think it's really important when you're looking for a host, there's a lot of them out there, and a lot of them do similar things. And so it really comes down to what is important to you and your podcast. Are you really looking to monetize? You're trying to make this a career. You want to make a ton of money from it. When you're looking for a host, look for the ones with monetization features that are easy to use. If you're just trying to do it for a hobby and you don't want to spend a lot of money on it, well then maybe look for a cheaper cost. I highly recommend reaching out to support teams and seeing who's helpful and who's not, because podcasting can get really lonely, and you're going to want a support team there that can help you answer technical questions, give you encouragement. So kind of do your vetting with different hosting services. I think Buzzsprout is great, but I think that there are lots of options out there that fit lots of different podcasters. So go look look for what's important to you. Once you have that hosting platform decided on, then you're going to take all those details that you did before the first episode, and you're going to get them all added into that account. So your episode description, your podcast description, your title. When you're choosing a title, you want to be careful that someone else doesn't already have that title. So go to Apple Podcasts, go to Spotify, search the podcast name and see if it's there. It's not illegal necessarily to have the same, it's not against the rules unless there's copyright and trademarks on the other person who has the same title. But it is going to cause confusion if your podcast has the same name or a very similar name to another established podcast. So if there's someone else, try to change your title a little bit. You're going to want to put your artist information, all of those details that are going to kind of build your entire podcast. You want to set all of that up in your hosting site first. Then you get your episode uploaded, and then you have to go through a launch process. And this can take 5 days. Okay, it's not super hard, but you basically get everything set up in your hosting account, and then you're going to submit your podcast to all of these different directories. We recommend starting with Apple and Spotify because those are the biggest ones where the most listeners are, but Amazon and iHeartRadio, those are also really good ones to get started with. You'll submit your first episode. That's all you have to do is submit the first one. Most hosting companies make it really easy to do that, so you don't need to stress about the process. But then you have to wait a few minutes or a few days for them to accept your podcast. And then once you're listed, as you upload episodes into your hosting platform, they automatically go out to all of your listings within a couple hours. So that launch process is really important and can be a make or break when it comes to the popularity of your podcast over time. So you want to make sure that you're really planning that process out. So I recommend that you create a trailer episode and you upload that into your account first. So it's 2 to 3 minutes, not long, kind of like window shopping for your podcast, right? For someone who's looking for a podcast, maybe they see your finance podcast and they go on to listen to the trailer and get an idea of what this is about. Use that trailer episode to be like, hey, I'm the host. This is what we're going to talk about on this show. 2 minutes. Use that to submit to all of the directories, and then that way, once you're listed everywhere with that trailer, you can start promoting your launch, and then you have a date for your launch, and then you can publish episode 1 without that 5-day delay. Does that make sense? So that first episode is what's going to go out on your launch day, but your trailer's already out so that people can start listening and subscribing to the trailer. Then beyond that, you're listed on the directories. At that point, promotion, right? So tell your friends and family. Do not let the imposter syndrome get in your head and not tell everyone you know that you have a podcast.
Tell it on a mountain.
Be the annoying podcaster who tells everyone they have a podcast. Don't let that stop you. Because even if your friends might not be in your target audience, their friends might be in your target audience. And they might tell their friends, oh, my friend just started a podcast. So get the word out. Ask the people you trust to give you feedback on your first episodes and let that really allow you to grow over time with new episodes, because that feedback's going to be super, super important. And then join a community. We're all here, so we're all part of this community, but like I said, podcasting can get really lonely. And so if you're in a community, you can feed off of each other, get advice from people. If you run into that pod fade, you can ask people to listen and give you advice on what you should do next. If you run out of episode ideas, you can get advice from people. So I think all of that community is really going to help you as you go through that launch process, which can feel a bit overwhelming, but in the end, it's actually not so hard as long as you have good partners in your corner.
I want to add one small note to your point about making sure your podcast name isn't taken by another podcast.
Yeah.
Take it a step further, because I'm a producer and I've produced over 1,000 episodes, launched over 30 shows. Make sure your podcast isn't the name of something popular in general too. I had a podcast called The Climb, and they were struggling to get their podcast going, but it's a popular Miley Cyrus song. Every time you're gonna Google the name of that, the song's gonna pop up. Does a band pop up? Does a restaurant pop up? So the more unique you can get, doesn't have, like you said, there's no legal problem, but the more unique you can get, it'll help yourself in the long run.
With one caveat on the unique part is don't do any funny spellings of words.
Yes.
Because then people can't find you when they're searching for your podcast. So as much as it's so tempting to be oh, I'm gonna spell this a different way that don't do it. Yeah. It's not gonna help you get found. Traditional spelling is gonna be your friend, I promise.
Unless you have a Disney podcast.
All right, question 3. Everybody good? Y'all straight? Y'all writing notes, right? Some good stuff. All right, question 3, which I don't know, I'm interested to see how this plays out, but what equipment do you need to start a podcast? I feel like that's one of the first questions that people ask, how do I record it? Do I need to go to a studio or can I do it in my house? So what equipment do we need?
So the truth is you have everything you need already. The biggest mistake that people make is they want the fancy studio, they want the fancy microphones. I have those recommendations for you. I can provide that. You can hit me up after, I can send you the list. I can go them in detail. But the biggest thing, the beauty of what podcasting is that if you have an iPhone and a voice memo app and a closet somewhere, freaking record it, guys. Yeah. You are that is the only threshold for entry for you starting. From any other medium, you want to be a TikToker, you want to be an Instagram, you want to be a YouTuber, there's a lot of other things that you should have to do, but being a podcast is all about your story, okay? It's all about your authentic message, the people. It's about being human. So if it's not perfect, it's actually okay. People aren't going to be like, 5 minutes and 33 seconds. Monica coughed, and I heard that. Like, they don't care. So that's the first thing to do is start with what you have. iPhone, because I'm an Apple girly, sorry, but like voice memo app of some kind. If you have a PC or just a computer, that's fine too. You can use something called Audacity. It's a free software that you can record right into it if you would like. But if you want to invest just a little bit more, like you want to not spend like too much, I would recommend getting a microphone. That would be great if you could. And you can get a Audio-Technica microphone. Usually on Amazon, it's on sale for like $50. The numbers have left my brain right now for the specifics of it, but it's like an AT something or other. I'll tell you what it is. But what I'm trying to tell you more importantly is some kind of recording device and headphones. Wear headphones. Wear headphones, please. I'm a producer begging you to wear headphones, because if you are doing an interview, like, you don't want that feedback coming out. I got some $10 Sony headphones that are foldable ones from Amazon, and yeah, like, you could easily start like recording, take your microphone, record like this. Hi, Regina, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, then bring it back. Like, it's not, you know. And then if you want to do remote interviews and you want to invest like just a little bit more, there's something I like to use called Riverside.fm. It's a virtual recording platform that's kind of like a bougier version of Zoom, is the best way that I could explain it to a beginner. It'll have all your files separated, so each speaker will have their own audio file, and it'll be a nice little database for you to store all of your recordings. So if you wanted the middle ground, those headphones, a microphone, and Riverside Studio FM, you can record. Now, I feel people asking in their heads, but what about a camera? I actually don't suggest you start video podcasting. Video podcasting is a lot. I recommend you start recording an audio-only podcast. Get into the feel of your recording schedule, your content, your messaging, and maybe after like your first season, if you want to dip your toes into video podcasting, there's all sorts of ways that you can do that. But again, don't let the type of camera get in your head. Like, you have a webcam, get like a Logitech. Logitech has really great webcams. There's like a 1080p one that you can get on Amazon. But the biggest thing that I can tell you is, I'm a bit like, as a Disney fan, I'm kind of like the Ariel of tech. Like I gather and collect all the gadgets and gizmos aplenty until I feel like I can start recording. Don't do that. Start with what you have and keep improving with every episode that you have. And YouTube is great. Like, Homegirl YouTube will tell you all the places and all the things that you need to buy. But if you have more questions, like, let me know. I can definitely help you with your technical setup.
Yeah, and then the thing I'll add to that is, don't compare yourself to other shows.
Yes.
Compare yourself to your first episode, your second episode to your first episode, your third episode to your second episode, and your first episode. Continue to improve as you go along, and just, you can definitely watch others to learn from them, or to see things that may work for your show, but don't say, well, this person started the same day as me and now they have this many episodes or this many views or whatever have you. Just continue to be authentic, continue to serve your, I call it serve your audience, because those folks that are listening to you are coming to you for a reason. As long as you are serving them, you will grow the way that you organically need to grow. So please do not do that. Don't compare yourself to others that are out there. A lot of you are in the room today. Hopefully we'll start soon. Just compare yourselves to yourselves, even if you know one another, because that sometimes people lose focus. I know a couple times folks have set up here your why. You lose focus on your why when you are watching everything else. Then you can't bring what you need to bring to your show, because you're trying to hurry up and do more episodes or do whatever it is that you think has gotten them to a different place. And sometimes people are comparing their day one to somebody else's day, year 5. Yeah. So you want to make sure that you're just comparing yourself to yourself, and that you are listen to your show. Once you do finally publish it, listen.
Like,
what can you change? Yeah, exactly right. What can you change? What should be different? What can be modified? And if it's great, then it's great. But you'll learn from what you do on what you should do next.
And think about the fact that the podcasts, when someone asks you what's your favorite podcast, most of the podcasts that come to mind have like full production companies, right?
Like $20,000+ a year, like crazy. Yeah.
That is like 1% of podcasters. right? The rest of them are indie podcasters who are starting, who have small budgets, who have little teams or one person in their closet. And so if you're listening to, Amy Poehler's new podcast, which, is super fun, but she has so many people helping her out, you're comparing your first episode or your first season to hers is not going to be fair to you because you are doing so much fun, awesome work, storytelling. And she is too. She's just got a ton of people helping her.
Yeah.
So it just goes back to what you were saying, like give yourself a little grace, compare yourself to where you were yesterday, and let that be the motivator, and don't get caught up in all of the stats of everything. Like,
just
enjoy it and move on.
Like
that's it. Enjoy. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Enjoy it. If you are going to the mic in the closet or wherever you're doing, and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to do another episode, then you're probably not talking. Well, one, maybe podcasting is not for you, or you're talking about something that is probably a different topic. You should go to a different topic because it should come across to the listener, if they're listening or watching, whichever way it is, that you are enjoying what you're doing, and you shouldn't have to fake that if you have chosen the topic that, like she said, you may not be an expert, but you enjoy talking about, because that will resonate to those that are listening to you. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Just rounding it out, basically, like two things. First thing, watch your favorite creator's first episode or piece of content ever. That's the thing that always motivates me, because it really grounds me to feel like, oh, they started too. Second thing, as far as like team, like I was able to meet Oprah's podcast producer at what's it called? Podcast Movement. And she told me one of her episodes takes 5 months to produce. So like realize that we don't have that. It's just you and the microphone, So just don't get in your head about it.
And you have done a great step by coming here today. So give yourself kudos for that, because the community like this and environments like this, and this one happens to be at no cost, but if there is a minor cost for you to attend something so you can learn to better your show, invest in yourself to do that if you need that at that time. But you have to invest in yourself and your show, whatever that may be. Maybe it's the microphone, maybe it's whatever it is that you need to get, but it's also in you learning and connecting with others in the space so that you can be aware of what's going on in with podcasting. So kudos for being here today.
Yeah, and real quick to piggyback off you, if y'all don't mind.
No, of course.
The investment part, it makes you appreciate your work better. Like once you invest in yourself, once you say I built this up and you start investing in it, you're gonna take some ownership. You're gonna look back at it and be like, okay, I bought this mic. I'm not gonna play with this mic. And then from there all the way to somebody in the middle of the street, like you at a club or something, and somebody come to you and say, man, I listen to your show. That'll motivate you so quick. So definitely enjoy it. And y'all gave some great points. All right, one more question, and then we're gonna do audience questions, and then do takeaways. Everybody good? Y'all straight? Yeah. Good. All right, question 4. So we talked about tech, we talked about equipment, we talked about launching and all that stuff, right? But let's talk about the mistakes. Let's talk about the hurdles. So all 3 of them are going to give their testimonies or share one. But what are some early hurdles you ran into when it came to podcasting?
Yeah, so I'll start with that one. Mine was I had to go in and have the studio. I had to have the studio, the big keyboard, the whole sound room and all of that, which did a few things for me. There was money that I paid out that I didn't have to. There was a 45-minute drive one way to go there and come back. And I have an interview show, so it's scheduling the person to make sure that they can tune in for the time of the show. If I ran into traffic, that brought about hurdles. So it was not knowing enough that I did not have to be in the studio. I thought everybody's podcast was in a studio. So I was doing that for about 7 months. And then I learned by going to an environment like this, not here, but somewhere else, that I didn't have to do that. I'm like, what? What do you mean I could do some of the stuff that Rita just mentioned? Like, what? So that's why this is really important when you come to environments like this. So I went from, I'll call it spending a lot of money because I paid gas to go. My time is really expensive to drive down there and back, getting studio time, making sure the guests can tune in, to, oh, we could do it at this time. Here's my calendar link, put it on my calendar. We both open our laptops and put on the headphones. The mic is in front of me and we can go. So it cut out a lot of time and money by not going to the studio and doing it at my convenience. Like I literally can be in a hotel room if I'm traveling on business and do my show before I go to a meeting because I have all of my equipment with me. So that was mistake number 1 that I had that just was not cool. And I'm gonna do one more real quick. I also thought that I had to put out a show every week because you need consistency. You got to do this week, otherwise your show is not going to get picked up. Yeah, that was not good because I said I was going to do that and I was not delivering that. And one, because I was going to the studio, I was doing all the things that I mentioned earlier. So I said the most I can do is twice a month, and then that has been consistent for several years. I've been putting out the 2 a month every single month that I moved away from saying I'm going to do it a week. It ended up being 2 times a month anyway, and that worked best for me. And my audience still finds me, and I make sure through my social pages that I tell them first and third Thursday, like remembering to announce that that's what I'm doing so that they know when the show is coming, even during the episode. So it was like, over-committing and under-delivering, and you don't want to be in that spot. That was a couple of the hurdles that I went through when I first started.
A couple of my mistakes. The first biggest one I did is I let other people's opinions stop me from making my show what I wanted it to be. And people have great advice, especially for me. Like, I work in the corporate podcasting space prior to me being an entrepreneur now. And a leader in that space said, well, Rita, your Disney business podcast, it's cute, like it's good, but it's not really a business podcast. Like, you should really lean in, like, well-meaning advice, right? So I tried to change it. I tried to make it fit more of what a business podcast should be. And I didn't feel right. And then I kind of started getting in my head about, well, is this good? Is this not good? And I had been able to interview the coolest people. I got to interview a Disney animator. I flew out to LA and interview him before. And, I started being really down on myself and feeling like, well, you know what? Like, if this isn't businessy enough, then maybe I should just stop. Because the second mistake was that I looked at my analytics too much. And I thought that I was like, no one's listening, no one's commenting, no one's this, no one's that, there's no point. What's the point if no one's commenting? Well, let me tell you, there are a lot of lurkers. I don't know what it is, but podcast people, like our audience, they just like to kind of listen. Maybe they won't comment, maybe they won't maybe they won't even follow, but maybe they'll just like listen passively. So I stopped recording for 5 months. And then I went to PodFest, which, shout out PodFest. If you haven't been able to go, you should definitely go. And I started walking around, and I had my badge of my little podcast, and I was kind of like, oh, I'm done with it. And 2 people walked up to me in that event and said, oh my God, do you have the Disney podcast? I love your podcast. I listen to it all the time. And just like you're saying, it was just that moment that made me realize, like, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for the people listening. Like, those are the people that are what I wanted to do this podcast for. So long story short, I fast forwarded and I just decided to make the show whatever I wanted it to be. We did a pretend rebrand of Hades on my podcast. Now my silly little business podcast last year won an award for Best Business Advice Podcast. So I fixed my mistake. I kept going and I stopped listening to what other people said and I stopped over-analyzing the analytics.
Yeah. Avoiding analytics is so hard when you're starting, but it really is such a good tip to just don't even look at them. You're not doing it for the numbers in the beginning. You're doing it because you love this. You're passionate about this, for sure. Okay, so my intro into my own podcast was kind of weird because I started working for Buzzsprout in 2017 and was working with podcasters and helping podcasters launch for 7 years before I even considered starting my own podcast. And so then I actually went into the podcaster mode and started doing that part. And I will tell you, even after working in podcasting for as long as I was, the imposter syndrome is so strong and can be so strong. And when you're in the planning phases, you're gonna have these thoughts in your head that are like, who are you to talk about this? Just ignore them. Okay, the reason, someone once told me once that the things that are easy for you, that come naturally, that when people compliment you and say, oh, you're so good at this, and you go, yeah, everyone's good at this. Everyone is not good at it. The reason you're good at it, or the reason that it's easy for you, is because you're good at it. And so if you are talking about something that feels like everyone should know this, they don't. They don't all know this, and they're gonna learn it from you. And so try to really push out that imposter syndrome in those early months, because that delayed my launch, which is crazy because I work in podcasting and I work in customer support, and I'm sitting here going, I can't do a podcast about customer support, no one's gonna listen to it. And it's like, Priscilla, you've been doing this for a long time, come on. I really think that delays a ton of launches. So try your best to push that out. That was my biggest hurdle in the beginning, was really getting over that imposter syndrome. And then the sustainability is huge. I think I said it before, we've said it like 4 times up here, do not bite off more than you can chew. You will burn out so fast even if it's something you love and you're trying to like push out episodes so much and you're in the new phases, so you're learning editing, and then you're like, man, I'm spending my whole weekend editing because I'm learning how to use this software and I have to do this every weekend and now I'm losing my weekends. Like, slow down, produce less, it's okay, and as it gets easier, you'll get faster and it'll be more fun. So those are kind of my 2 big things, that I had to step back my schedule, my release schedule, and then imposter syndrome is just, don't let it get to you.
So they just said, they came and said 5 minutes. I don't know if that means it was over in 5 minutes.
I think we have 10 minutes left.
That's what I was thinking.
It's 2:05.
Okay. So we'll just do take 5 minutes. Can we get 2 questions if anybody got a question?
Yeah.
How many episodes per season you suggest?
I think it really depends on how you want to do it. You can do seasons if you want to. You don't have to do seasons. You can just go without a season. So it really is up to you. I would look at my personal life and like what my life looks like. What does my year look like? Do I have really busy holiday seasons and I want to be done by, November and take a break through the holidays and start back up in February? Then that's going to determine how many episodes. There's not really like a special number of episodes. I don't know if you guys have different experiences, but it really comes down to you and what for you would be sustainable. And when you need a break, take a break, stop the season, and then start when you're ready again.
Yes.
Hi, do you have to wear those big Mickey Mouse headphones?
No.
Can you right in ear or something?
You can wear buds. You don't have to wear over-the-ear ones. They even have ones where they're clear. So what you could do is you could put them behind you and route the wire to go behind your back and then plug it in if you really don't want it to be visible. But if you want Mickey Mouse ear headphones, I can tell you where to get them.
Also, those white wired iPhone headphones, great.
Great.
I mean, I know podcasters that have been podcasting for 10, 20 years, and they're still using the little earbuds.
They're fantastic.
Totally fine.
Yeah.
They're great.
All right, one more question, real quick.
So I know people that will make an hour-and-a-half video and then use that one video and segment it and release it that way. So they did one video and they break that down over 2-3 months. Is that a good practice, you think?
It depends on your content. I've had people who have done part 1, part 2 type episodes. And I find if your episode is really good, it's and you're able to, in your script, like tease towards the next one, like your favorite like old school telenovela, like tune in next week to find out what's next, you know what I mean? You really have to play into it, because if you just make a hard cut and you're not thinking about the entire storyline, you can actually lose viewers that way, because I had somebody that I worked with that did that. So if you're able to do like, an hour and a half and you want to break it up into 3 episodes, just take your outline time and plan beforehand and really figure out like where's a natural break so that you don't have to worry about it in post-production. That's my biggest tip, is everything you can do in pre-production before you record the episode to make it easier for you after when you edit, like that kind of planning is important,
And you can change. Sorry. Go ahead. No,
I was going to say, speaking about editing, if you don't know how to do it, then please secure somebody to do that. That may be an intern where you don't have to pay that person to do it. They may need credits for, college or high school, whatever it is that they're doing. Go to the music schools. Like where I was, I had people that worked on my show that were in the music school within their college, and they actually did the hook song at the beginning of my show. Like, I paid him for that lyric. So it's really important for you to know, I call it your lane of genius, and if editing is not that one, can you do it? Absolutely. But if you, depending on your type of show, and to her point, knowing where the breaks are, if that's not what you know how to do, you don't want your show to not end the right way, then secure a resource, or maybe check with those that edit and see what's within your budget. Even if it can't be for your first show, when you get to that point where you could afford that, then you go ahead and secure that resource. But that's really important.
And I teach editing as well too, for anyone that wants to explore that. Just let me know. I'd be happy to help you with that.
Indeed.
Okay.
Let me get one more quick question.
Hey, it's a quick question. Because y'all brought something to my attention that I wasn't thinking about. Any thoughts about like Streamlabs? Because me and my partner, we just been doing Instagram Live for the past year. and then we were just gonna shift over to Streamlab and start our own YouTube channel. We wasn't thinking about like Apple podcasts and Spotify podcasts and all of like this is all new stuff to me. So I need advice for that.
Yes. I have a lot of experience with working with streamers who have converted their live stream into a podcast. Streamlabs is great, and you can definitely rip the audio from it if you would like, but keep in mind that the audiences are different. So let's say you are live streaming and you're like showing a shirt or whatever, right? You're saying, yeah, this is my favorite shirt, you know, and you're just showing it. You might want to go into a bit more of an audio description while you're sharing the shirt. Like, this is my favorite red shirt, you know, it's short, it's long, it's whatever, because you have to also imagine the people that are passively listening and not watching, what their experience is going to be like. So I think using live streaming tools to record and air your podcast is fantastic, but again, that pre-production, you're going to need to be considering what you're showing and making it audio friendly as well too.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and using audio podcasting opens you up to a whole new group of people who aren't necessarily going to want to watch a stream. And so there's really no reason not to pull the audio and just get it up there. Even if you don't do anything to it, you're opening yourself up to a new audience. To piggyback on what you were saying, it can make your listening experience so much better if you do some light editing. I listen to a podcast pretty consistently that is a stream, and then they upload the audio, and they go like dead air for like 10 seconds. Now on video, they're doing stuff, and so, but on the audio, I'm like, did my phone just die? What just happened? So like cutting some of that down can really streamline the audio experience. And so you don't have to do that. If it's making the hurdle of getting it on audio, if it's going to stop you from doing that, I wouldn't worry too much about it. But if you have the time to do some simple editing, I think that makes a big difference for those listening. Yeah.
And there is a tool called Descript where there is an AI editor on it where it can automatically recognize those dead air moments that you're talking about. You press a button. And you know, so yeah, just think about whatever stream you're doing, watch it with your eyes closed one day and see what that experience is like for that person.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up. On the list it said takeaways, but I would like for y'all to give me one word, one word to the new podcasters, to one word.
Can it be 2 words?
Them.
Oh, I know.
Can I be 2 words?
It can be 2 words.
Okay, these are my 2 words.
Okay, ready?
Just start.
Just start.
Just start.
Nike. Just do it.
Just do it. Just start. Just hit record.
Oh, go ahead, because I have a sentence. Go ahead. What was yours to start to?
My sentence, I know it's not one word, but dream big, seriously. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. I never thought I'd be flown out to London, flown out to Barcelona, doing podcasts in LA, working with clients on production sets. In my own little studio, itty bitty apartment, I was recording these episodes virtually with like a bootleg, you know, Chinese knockoff microphone when I first started. You know what I mean? Like, just realize that, just dream big. Like, it really can take you so many places. So yeah.
All right, I have a saying. The only situation that can place a limitation on your podcast destination is procrastination. So just do it.
What the ladies be doing? What's this?
Oh, we need like snacks, poetry. It's like.
Can we get you to say that?
Oh, she
said repeat it.
I love it.
Play.
So you got to send it to me if I'm going to say it. The only situation that can place a limitation on your podcasting destination is procrastination. So just do it.
There you go.
I love it. Ladies, let's give a round of applause for our panelists. And listen, we're at the end of it. My name is Mr. LP. Hopefully y'all got some good information. If you want to get some more information from them, feel free to come to them and ask questions and that stuff, and enjoy the rest of your time at a podcast camp, all right?
Yes.
To the top.
I think there's 15 minutes until the next one, so we'll hang around up here if you have any questions.
Come up